a lot of people being protected here. But why is Diddy the only person in jail? If he's committing crimes all over the place, well, guess what? The people who are also in these videos are also committing crimes. So why is he the only one in the box? When Diddy sued Diageo, right, the company went down by 20% because Diddy was claiming racism and all this other stuff, and it was such a visible person with such a visible lawsuit. 20%. It's a $70 billion company. Dishonest call of racism, which he threatened them that he was going to do in advance. So he straight up is like, this is not real. I'm going to just do it to destroy you guys if you don't do what I want. And then he did it. He probably cost him $18 billion.
Katt Williams just dropped a bombshell, and it's shaking up everything. Word on the street is that Diddy didn't just fall from grace on his own. He might have gone toe-to-toe with some of the biggest power players out there. And that includes the shadowy giant, BlackRock. Yeah, that BlackRock. Now the whispers about Diddy getting arrested after crossing them, they're starting to sound a whole lot louder.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
People are asking, if Diddy really did all the stuff he's accused of, why is he the only one catching heat? That's the million-dollar question. Because when you zoom in, it starts looking like some very rich and powerful folks either looked the other way, co-signed his mess, or straight up profited from it. That's where BlackRock slides into the picture. And baby, it ain't looking good.
Do you know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
It's to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that, I value that, I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it.
This all might have kicked off after Diddy had a nasty breakup with a company called Diageo. He sued them, claiming racial discrimination and dirty business moves. That wasn't just some minor fight. When Diddy hit him with that lawsuit, Wall Street felt it. Diageo's parent company's stock nosedived nearly 20% in a single day. Let's put it in perspective real quick. Diageo is worth around $70 billion. So when Diddy came for them, that lawsuit didn't just make headlines, it wiped out $18 billion in value almost overnight, all from one man clapping back. And guess who owns the biggest chunk of Diageo? None other than BlackRock. Yeah, let that marinate. So now it's clear, Diddy wasn't just beefing with a drink company, he was allegedly going up against one of the most untouchable financial beasts on the planet.
What do you think about them accusing Diddy of having cameras in his house so he can record celebrities and politicians and use it as blackmail?
I firmly believe that's true because in that sector of people, a lot of them practice Scientology. And Scientology, that was their thing. They would, people in compromising positions, they hold that footage over their head and get them to agree to things. I think he one of them Scientology people, bro. Because that's probably where he got that from. A lot of powerful guys operate like that. So the things I'm seeing with him, it all makes sense.
BlackRock ain't just big, they control everything. We're talking over $11.5 trillion under management. That's more than half the GDP of the entire US economy. They've got their hands in nearly every major Fortune 500 company. And it don't stop there. They consult with governments, manipulate markets, and shape policies behind the scenes like puppet masters. These folks don't just play in the shadows, they are the shadows. So when Diddy's lawsuit made Diageo's value nosedive, best believe the suits upstairs weren't just watching, they were furious. That $18 billion dent didn't just hurt Diageo, it messed with BlackRock's pockets too. Fast forward to today. Diddy's behind bars and suddenly everyone's acting like his fight with big finance never even happened.
It does very much seem that what was in the bottles of baby oil was not just baby oil, but very likely spiked baby oil with the GHB that can be absorbed through the skin and is the that Danny Masterson used to his victims. Okay.
But Katt Williams, he didn't forget. He's the only one still shouting through the static, calling out the names nobody wants to say. Katt's been saying it loud. There were people who knew, people who backed Diddy, protected him, and watched the whole circus unfold without lifting a finger. And when they tried to buy Katt's silence with tens of millions, he walked away. Said he'd rather keep his soul than sell it for hush money. Katt laid it bare. Diddy was throwing parties that weren't just parties, and they were traps, setups, VIP rooms full of cameras, substances, and shady deals. Politicians, celebs, you name it. walk in and risk getting caught in compromising positions on film. And where did Diddy learn that game? Katt points straight to Scientology. Yeah, not just the belief systems, but the control tactics. The method, get the tape, hold it over their head, own their next move. Sources say Diddy studied that playbook front to back. Even his own bodyguard claimed Diddy had cameras planted in every corner, with sketchy stuff flowing non-stop. And now, the rumors are so wild they're talking about baby oil. That's how deep and twisted it got.
Invitation to one of Diddy's white parties. And then what happens is that due to 9/11, that party got canceled. Danny Masterson was very upset that 9/11 got in the way of him going to his first Diddy party.
When the feds raided Diddy's mansion, what they found left jaws on the floor. Over 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Yeah, 1,000. At first, it sounded laughable until someone connected the dots. It might not have been just baby oil in those bottles. Word is those bottles could have been hiding GHB, the same substance known for wiping memory, knocking folks out and soaking straight through the skin. The same exact drug that Danny Masterson used in his twisted mess. And now the timeline's getting even darker. Back in 2001, Masterson's crib had zero surveillance, but by 2007, after his now exposed crimes, reports say there were 17 hidden cameras set up all over his house. We're talking smoked glass orbs, cameras in every corner, and a master control panel hidden in his bedroom closet, like a whole setup straight out of a spy movie. So who put him onto that tech? Who was he really running with? According to sources, Masterson wasn't working solo. He had a network. And guess who was floating in that same circle? Diddy and the industry elites. Even Ashton Kutcher's name comes up. The guy who swears he ain't a Scientologist, but his assistant, Scientologist, his close friends, same thing. Even a producer on Punk'd, yup, also deep in it.
These big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
And here's where it gets straight up ironic. Punk'd was literally a hidden camera show. Like, you can't make this stuff up. But that's just the tip of it. Ashton Kutcher was real tight with Diddy. Insiders say he started showing up to Diddy's wild invite-only white parties all the way back in the late 90s. Then in 2001, Danny Masterson joined the mix. That's when their bond got stronger, then everything started shifting behind the scenes. And here's the crazy part. Over time, Danny's crib turned into a copycat version of what Katt Williams described about Diddy's setup. Cameras everywhere, surveillance vibes, secret panels. It's like the same blueprint just kept showing up over and over. And through it all, Scientology stayed lurking in the background, not just with Danny, not just with Ashton, but even with Jennifer Lopez. Yup, J-Lo used to date Diddy, and guess what? Her dad, a known Scientologist, and her bestie, Leah Remini, the same woman who later exposed the church's darkest secrets to the world. Now get this, insiders claim Scientology had been plotting to pull J-Lo into their fold for years. Allegedly, they even used Tom Cruise's wedding to plant her in their orbit and get closer to her. That wedding? Yeah, the one where David Miscavige, the head of Scientology, stood as Tom Cruise's best man. Let that sink in. When you start connecting the dots, Diddy, Scientology, Ashton, Danny, it's not just a bunch of random names, it's a whole network, a web that protects itself as long as the money keeps flowing. And that's where we circle right back to BlackRock. Because sources say BlackRock didn't invent this game and they just perfected it. They've got their hands in everything: index funds, pension plans, college endowments. And here's the kicker. They don't care if the market wins or crashes, no matter what. BlackRock always gets paid. But when Diddy went rogue and threw a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit into the mix, that shook the structure. That's not the kind of disruption BlackRock just ignores. Billions were on the line, and that made Diddy more than a problem. He became a threat. Now Diddy's locked up, his freaky parties are under the microscope, and all those celebrities that used to be up in his circle, dead silent. But that silence, that's not peace, that's fear. Because Katt Williams wasn't just making noise, he was collecting receipts. And the elites who helped build this empire of power and profit, they're terrified of that spotlight flipping back onto them. Katt already threw out a warning shot. Diddy might start naming names. Yeah, he straight up said Diddy could snitch on everybody, and if that happens, this mess is just getting started. Because if Diddy starts talking, he's not the only one with something to lose. Anyone who turned a blind eye, pulled up to those parties, or shared that spotlight, they're all in the blast zone now. It's not just about one man falling. It's about a whole system cracking open. But hold up, here's where things get even wilder. Elon Musk.
Elon is vocal Elon can stand up. Elon's not the guy that can be bullied. But some of these other guys that don't have 150 million followers and they don't own a company called Twitter, they may be billionaires. They may be $50 million guys, CEOs. But they got to sit there and say, babe, if you say something, you're going to lose your $26 million a year salary. Just do what Larry tells you to do. Imagine if you had control of 88% of CEOs of S&P 500 companies. What kind of influence do you have? So to me, as a person, when I asked you earlier, what are your top 5 things you would want somebody to run on? I think somebody's got to figure out a way to break those companies apart.
Do you think that's possible? Do you think they would ever allow that to happen?
I do think it's possible, but I also think it's possible that that person who does it is risking a lot of things.
No, Elon hasn't name-dropped Diddy yet, but he's been louder than ever about the snakes in the system. He's called out BlackRock by name. He's been dragging institutional power and corruption from the shadows into the light. And while Katt's been dropping bombs in Hollywood, Elon's been doing the same in Silicon Valley and on Wall Street. It's almost like, on purpose or not, these two are fighting the same war from different fronts. One tearing down the entertainment facade, the other ripping into corporate power. And that right there is what makes this moment straight up dangerous, because if Diddy's just the fall guy, the one they threw under the bus to keep the rest of the machine running, then someone wanted this mess to explode just enough. Enough to burn him, but not enough to shake the real power behind the scenes. But when folks like Katt Williams and even Elon Musk start yanking that curtain all the way back, that's when the whole system starts to glitch. That's when whispers turn into headlines. That's when people start to panic. One user put it plain, I've been saying they only came for Diddy after he sued BlackRock. Another said Diddy stepped out of line and now the deep state's cleaning house. So now it's your turn. What do you think's really going down? Is this just a Diddy problem, or is it about to expose a whole network of control? Drop your take in the comments. We want to hear everything. And don't just scroll past. Hit that like, smash subscribe, and share this with someone who's ready to wake up. Oh, and don't go far. That next video, yeah, it's already waiting. And trust me, it goes even deeper. See you there.